Hey there everyone, my name is Ash and this is 10 things we didn't know last week. Number 10. Fewer than 1 in 5 listed statues in the UK are women. In Manchester, a lack of women statues led Labour councillor Andrew Simcock to hold a public vote on which famous local woman should be commemorated. Simcock says there are 17 statues of public people in the city, but 16 of them are of men, and the only woman is Queen Victoria. Number 9. As mentioned by the Twitter account of Jeremy Clay, there was a Victorian comic song called Tony Blair. Mr. Harrison's rendering of Tony Blair is said to have created much excitement and laughter between the audience. Number 8. The Chilcot Report is 4.5 times as long as War and Peace. It's been 7 years and millions of dollars in the making, but the colossal report on Britain's role in the Iraq War will finally be published on Wednesday. The wait for the results of the inquiry have left former Prime Minister Tony Blair in the hot seat amid long-standing allegations he lied in the making of the case for the US-led 2003 invasion of Iraq. The Iraq inquiry was set up in July 2009 by Blair's successor Gordon Brown and was meant to take just a year to complete. Number 7. Pillows might easily have 47 different species of fungi living in them. We can't see bacteria, fungi and allergens, but we know that they're there. According to American Lung Association, 4 out of 5 homes in the United States have at least one bed with dust mites. Now believe it or not, it's not the pests themselves that are the problem, it's actually their feces. Dust mite droppings are highly allergenic and could cause a lot of irritation for some people with different types of allergy. So the next time you look at your pillow, have a second thought about how many different types of fungi are living in there. Number 6. Even in the early 1970s, women in the UK frequently had to get a male relative's signature to get a loan. Now when the first British credit card was launched 50 years ago, it was mostly used by men, because in the 1960s and 70s, women were actually viewed as a riskier investment by banks and stores. Women had to get their father or husband to sign for most loans, even if they earned more than them. Number 5. 3% of people think you should wait a month after the broadcast of a TV program before discussing the plot in a way that could throw up spoilers. In a poll conducted by Morning Consult and Vox, they asked Americans how the threat of spoilers affect how they consume entertainment. The results showed that while a large majority of people don't want to be spoiled, lots of those same people are pretty ruthless when it comes to spoiling things for others. When asked how important is it that a movie or a TV show isn't spoiled before they have a chance to watch it, 50% of the 1,998 registered voters said it was very important, and 30% said it was somewhat important. Whether it be Game of Thrones, Big Bang Theory, or Malcolm in the Middle, people hate spoilers. That's why every time you want to discuss a plot of a TV program or a movie, make sure you do mention spoiler alert. Number 4. Alcoholics in Ottawa are given wine every hour as part of their treatment. While at the Oaks, a permanent home for those who once lived on the street, residents are given a measure of wine at hourly intervals. It is called the Managed Alcohol Program and aims to change the drinking behavior of the addicts. Number 3. On average, people touch their smartphones 2,617 times per day. There's no secret that we are all obsessed with our phones. The heaviest smartphone users click, tap and swipe their phone 5,427 times per day, according to researcher D-Scout. However, you don't need to worry, that's the top 10% of phone users, so one would expect it to be excessive. However, the rest of us still touch the addictive things 2,617 times per day. And that's no small number. Number 2. Every winter, great white sharks swim for 30 to 40 days to congregate at a particular spot halfway between Mexico and Hawaii. And no one knows why. Now there's not a lot going on for this particular spot in the ocean. It's about 3,000 to 5,000 meters deep and pretty barren as far as foodstuffs go. But the massive sharks, which can reach length of nearly 22 feet, stay there from about April to July, clustered in an area smaller than Panama. When the males arrive, they start diving up 200 meters repeatedly for up to 150 times per day. Number 1. And at number 1 this week, we found out that Australia has a town called Humpty Doo. The police were called to the property at Humpty Doo, southeast of Darwin. A man has called the police to complain about his father who destroyed his cannabis plants during a domestic dispute in the northern city. With a population of 5,400, I'm sure everyone in Humpty Doo was actually laughing at the boy. You may be happy to know that the father was not actually charged with anything by the police, as they mentioned that there was not enough evidence left to support the boy's claim. So what we learned is that if anyone takes your drugs and burns them, do not call the police, as you might be the one actually going to jail for it. Thank you for watching this week's episode of 10 Things We Didn't Know Last Week. Please like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for our next episode of 10 Things We Didn't Know Last Week.